Well, hello and welcome everybody to a new video where we are going to take a look at the performance of the Dell Precision 5550 with the Nvidia Quadro T2000 as well as the i9 CPU together with 32GB of RAM in the game Call of Duty Modern Warfare from 2019. And we're playing Ground War, so the biggest play mode in the multiplayer. And we're playing at 1080p and with pretty much very low to low settings with some things set to high. I think this is simply what the game set as its default when I started the game. So I thought let's try out these settings first. And right off the start, this seems to be very promising for the game, since we're already hitting 80 FPS, and that is absolutely buttery smooth and perfectly fine for a multiplayer game. I will say though that it doesn't look all that great when you see it as compared to how it can look, because I do have my big beefy desktop PC here, and so obviously I know how it looks when you crank up everything to the highest settings, and it's definitely looking better than what we are seeing here. But yeah, for the Dell Precision, I would say this isn't looking too bad, especially if you want to play this a little bit more competitively. I think you wouldn't go and turn up all the settings to the highest anyways. And I'm sitting behind my big ass camera, so I can only see half of the screen, so forgive me for my terrible gameplay once again. But I do believe that we can still see how well this game runs, and I have absolutely no idea. I haven't played this game in ages, so I don't even know if I can damage this car with my gun. But it looks like it. I don't even know what a loadout I'm playing. Yeah, let's go run around and kill some people. But I actually really like how this is looking. I mean, so far we are mostly seeing 80 FPS, and it really feels super smooth when playing, and that is actually not the case with every game played on this machine, even though in many games we do see higher FPS, but yeah, sometimes it still won't feel super smooth or as smooth as it probably should be. But here it's definitely feeling as smooth as it looks. Alright, but it's really hard to aim at anything behind this camera, and I don't know, do we have bullet drop in this game? Is that the reason why I can't hit this guy? I don't know. Because I could swear that he was in my crosshair there. Wait, it is an enemy. But yeah, I mean, this game usually takes up a huge chunk of your VRAM, so I guess it is not a bad idea that, like we have done here, to turn down the quality of the textures a little bit, because we're still at 3GB of VRAM usage and at 16GB of RAM usage. So obviously our 32GB of RAM in the system are going to help out in the fluidity of this game and how well it will run overall, and that's obviously pretty good. So maybe you will see a little bit less FPS if you do have only 16GB of RAM, or even with only 8GB. That could certainly mean that you won't see the same kind of FPS, or at least that you won't see maybe some textures aren't loading correctly, or maybe you do see some micro stuttering here and there. But yeah, with 32GB you should be absolutely fine. And our first kill! We did something! We didn't not just die all game long without doing anything. Okay. It's amazing. But I actually like how well this runs. I mean, I will try to not die, but anyways, I will die. I'm going to set everything to the highest now, just for the fun of it, and see how well that runs. because I have played this game on my RTX 2070 XMG Fusion, and that definitely was able to play this game at I think 100 or 120 FPS at 1080p with the highest settings. So I would believe that we would see at least 50 to 60 FPS in this game, since it should be around half as fast as the 2070 Max Q of the XMG Fusion. And yeah, I guess that's exactly what we're seeing right now. I mean, it really doesn't feel as smooth as it did before with the low settings. Obviously, it doesn't feel as smooth. I mean, there's one thing if it feels smooth, and there's another it's another thing if it feels like it's not as responsive as it was before, and it definitely doesn't feel so responsive anymore now. So you should keep that in mind if you're playing this. I mean, for a single player, for the campaign, I guess this would be absolutely fine playing like that, but I really don't think it makes much sense to play like this in the multiplayer. And to be quite frank, I mean, we're seeing a little bit higher 2 gigabytes more RAM usage here, and some lags. I don't know if that's from the system or actually if that's just the Wi-Fi connection, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't really look all that much better, to be honest. It actually looks a lot blurrier with the filmic anti-aliasing. So I don't know, it makes it really hard to actually spot enemies like this one who are further away. But yeah, just for the fun of it, I mean, it's really cool that it's actually running this game at the highest settings, at the highest settings, yeah, at 1080p, and it still plays it super smooth. I mean, you definitely won't see Battlefield 5 playing like that at the highest settings with this machine. So yeah, that's at least something, I would say. I mean, we do have a lot of effects going on the screen, and holy shit, there are just so many snipers in this game. But yeah, it's dropping a little bit. I mean, you will see around what we saw, 40 to 60 FPS. And I do have a 170 ms ping. That's why it feels so super choppy, I guess. Yeah, my Wi-Fi connection isn't the best up here. But yeah, I think you did get a good idea how well this game should run in the multiplayer. And I mean, I don't know if this map is the most demanding one in the game, but this mode definitely is, since this is the mode with the most players in it. So yeah, if you want to enjoy this game, play it at the low settings, or at least at lower settings than the highest settings, which I have here right now. So you will get a little bit more than just the 50 FPS. I mean, look at that shit. Okay, but I will leave it to you at this point. And yeah, if you want to play this game, you can absolutely run it fine on your laptop.